Good morning, all. Our first reading this morning comes to us from the book of Joel in the Old Testament. Joel is one of the so-called minor prophets, like Hosea, Micah, and Amos, that changed the way and some way of the understanding of God. A prophet, of course, is rarely recognized in their own lifetime, but gains the quality and identity of a prophet when people reflect back on their lives. John Sponge says it this way: "There is no such thing as a self-proclaimed prophet, a fact that is widely misunderstood by religious folks. To be a prophet in residence is not a role for which one can apply, nor can anyone study for a prophetic career. The designation of prophet is bestowed by history alone, and normally well after the end of a potential prophet's life and career." The voice of Joel becomes prophetic for us as we now see the truth about the nature of God in his words. Each prophetic voice tends to move the human understanding of the nature of God in some way. With this in mind, hear the words from Joel chapter 2, verses 21 to 27. "Do not fear, O earth. Be glad and rejoice, for God has done great things. Do not fear, you animals of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness are green. The tree bears its fruit. The fig tree and the vine give their full yield. O children of God, be glad and rejoice in God, for God has given you the early rain for your well-being and has poured down upon you abundant rain. The threshing floors shall be full of grain. The vats shall overflow with wine and oil. You shall eat and be satisfied and praise a faithful God. And you shall know that God is in your midst, and give thanks for the gift of life." Our second reading will be perhaps more familiar to many of you. It is the passage in Matthew's Gospel that is traditionally read on Thanksgiving Day. The full text challenges us to stop worrying about food and clothing the way the birds and the lilies do not worry. Today, you are invited to hear this passage without the comparisons, to look more closely at Jesus' direct message about how to focus our life to be more fully human. Reading from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 and 31 to 33, we will hear. "Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat and what you will drink, or about your body and what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? So, do not worry, but strive first for the kingdom of God, and all that you need will be given to you." Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
Thanks be to God. Thanks, Reg.